This is the Board of Directors meeting of September 15, 2016. My name is Sohaila Kogler. I'm the Vice President of the Board of Directors and I'm sitting for Carl Challenger, the President. We have quorum, but tonight our meeting is not an official meeting due to the error that the agenda for this meeting was not posted 48 hours in advance. However, the date and location of the meeting was announced in advance. So this is an informational meeting. We will discuss the motions, but we will not take a vote. We called a special meeting for next Thursday, and in that meeting, we're going to take a vote on the motions that we have discussed tonight. So let's go around the table and introduce ourselves.
Mary Beal, Executive Assistant to General Manager.
Wade West, Director, Tower 3.
Joe Purcell, Director, Tower 1.
Rich Delafuente, Director at Large.
Richard Miller, Director, Tower 1.
Frank Fittipaldi, General Manager. And Art.
Okay, thank you. So let's start with the Treasurer report.
Hello, my name is Mashe Mai. I will be presenting the financial report this evening. I will start with the cash balances. As of August 31st, the depository account has a total balance of $834,000. The R&R account has a balance of $5.3 million. Total available cash as of August 31st is $6.2 million. I will now talk about accounts receivable. Total accounts receivable from homeowners as of August 31st, 2016 is approximately $3.2 million. $3.1 million of that is in legal. $18,000 is in payment plans. $26,000 is 1 month past due. $162 is 2 months past due. And the remaining $2,000 is over 60 days past due. I will now talk about accounts payable. Total accounts payable as of August 31st, 2016 is $778,000, which includes all invoices posted as of August, plus any known accruals. Legal invoices account for approximately $66,000. R&R invoices account for approximately $102,000. I will now break down the payables. $595,000 is 0 to 30 days old. $113,000 is 31 to 60 days old. $23,000 is 61 to 90 days old. Finally, $45,000 is over 90 days old. For the month of September, $310,000 of payments were made through Condo Cafe. As of September 2nd, 2016, there were 640 owner occupants and 435 absentee owners. Of the 435 absentee owners units, 420 are occupied by tenants. Units occupied by tenants represent approximately 39% of total Galaxy units. The monthly financial package for August will be available by the beginning of next week. This concludes the financial report.
Thank you. Any questions for the controller? Thank you. So next, manager.
Thank you, Mrs. President, Board members, and community. First, I'd like to sincerely apologize for the error in posting the agenda for tonight's meeting late, and unfortunately, due to that, the special meeting will be required for next week to conduct votes. That was a management error, and we'll make every effort to make sure that that doesn't happen again, that we don't waste the homeowner's time and the board members' time here. So again, my apologies. Some updates on projects. The garage resurfacing project has been temporarily put on hold as of 2 weeks ago, so the association can address schedule delay issues with the contractor, dust control conditions, as well as containment of work area spillage when pours are being done around vehicles and other areas of the garage. And finally, housekeeping issues. regarding the spread of material and debris in many areas of the garage, seemingly unnecessarily. Once these concerns are resolved, we hope the project will resume shortly. Also, on Monday, August 29th, our garage structural engineer company, Desmond and Associates, completed an engineer's inspection and evaluation of the entire garage. This was last done approximately 4 years ago, 3.5 to 4 years ago, before the current construction began with technical construction. 4 engineers were on site compiling data, making observations, compiling data, including all the work that's been performed by the current contractor and other sections of the garage that weren't under construction, to identify the need for short and long-term repairs to those other areas before we move forward. The hallway redecorating project, at management's and board's concurrence, the start of the project was delayed another few weeks and is now scheduled to begin on Monday, October 3rd. This is due to material delivery lead times. The penthouse floors of each tower will be the first areas redecorated, working from the top floors down. 2 to 3 floors at a time will be simultaneously started each week. The redecorating of these floor sets is expected to take approximately 3 weeks from start to finish. The first week being demolition, painting, electrical work, and the second week being wallpaper installation, wall covering installation. The third week would be carpeting. This scenario would play over and over again for some 54 weeks until the project is finished in November of 2017. The contractor will work between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Mondays through Fridays, excluding holidays. They may start quietly staging material and supplies starting at 8 a.m. And be cleaning up their work site and moving tools out between 5 and 5:30 p.m. to give us the benefit of that full 8-hour workday. Residents should expect some noise and dust due to sanding of doors and repairing of crown molding during that first week. The second and third weeks of construction will be cleaner and much quieter as wall covering and flooring and carpeting are installed. Elevator lobbies will be closed on those select floors during the heavy demolition phase while the elevator doors are being spray painted, so as to avoid any accidents with spraying of the passengers in the elevators when the doors open on those floors. So those floors will be disabled. The elevators will still work for the rest of the tower. And residents will, for those brief periods of time, will be directed on how to use alternate routes to enter and exit their homes. Resident communication will begin 2 weeks prior to the start date of each floor set to ensure a smooth process and to reduce the amount of inconvenience to the minimum. First notice will be email, second notice will be email and under door notices, in which residents will be advised, or I should say apartment owners will be advised about the choices available for either conventional or high-tech video doorbells and viewfinders. Okay. Just a note about garage speed control, which continues to be an ongoing problem. Security has been checking speed in the garage with the placement of speed indicators that give feedback of the driver's speed. Residents may have noticed these placed periodically in different places around the garage. Beginning next week, vehicles going over 10 miles an hour would be stopped and warned, and those vehicles will be documented for consideration of fines and other sanctions. These speed checks will be done at various times and locations throughout the garage and plaza, and we remind all homeowners, please be cognizant of the speed restrictions in the garage. This is a safety issue that has serious implications if an accident happens. So warnings will not be issued any further, and residents will be fined or other sanctions will be applied in accordance with the garage rules. This is hurricane season for many parts of the country, but in September and October, but certainly at the time of year where we get high winds and storms. Because of that, and because of a recent incident that happened where an umbrella blew off of a Galaxy terrace and landed in the mini park a few weeks back, we conducted a audit of terrace compliance with the rules and regulations of the association. Several residents and owners were given violation notices. This is a serious matter if things come off those terraces and fall to people below, especially those terraces over the outdoor pool area where there's a concentration of residents. The audit will be performed at a minimum on a quarterly basis. So residents again are reminded, please be compliant with the terrace rules and regulations. Going back to the garage for a moment, security has begun to audit parking decals again to make sure that the decal matches the vehicle. The audit revealed a handful of vehicles where owners have transferred their vehicle from one leased vehicle to another. This is necessary to also get new license plates when you do that. Please let us know your updated vehicle information. This becomes very helpful when vehicles are in violation of the garage rules. We do everything we can to avoid towing vehicles. Sometimes that's not possible, and it's especially difficult to avoid if we don't know who you are. If your car is inadvertently parked in someone else's spot, or breaking some other rule in the garage. Garage lighting. Residents may notice some bright new lights near the 15th floor garage entrance, and also the 14th floor near Tower 2. Staff is testing various LED products so that when lighting in the garage is replaced, we can do it with updated components. One last note, outdoor pool closing update. The Board of Directors heard the voices of residents who made suggestions about keeping the outdoor pool open 7 days a week instead of just on weekends as originally announced for the month of September. So the outdoor pool will be fully staffed on weekends. However, it will be open during the week as well throughout the end of the month. There will, however, be no lifeguards on weekdays, and residents will swim at their own risk. The disclaimer must be signed by residents and guests prior to going to the outdoor pool during those times, and children under 14 years of age must be accompanied by an adult. That concludes my report for the month. The three items that were previously to be up for vote naturally will not be able to be voted on tonight because of the error in announcing this board meeting. So I'll be happy to entertain any questions to those items the board members may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Any questions for Frank?
Yes, Frank, I have a question. When you were speaking about the hallways, you said the elevators won't stop on the floors that are being worked on, I guess, when the flooring is being done. And if that's so, what happens if there's an emergency? Will then the elevators quickly be able to be reprogrammed to stop on that floor?
Once in an elevator, the button for the floor that's being, where the elevator doors are being spray painted, those buttons will be disabled for a few hours while the spraying is taking place. That's a safety precaution so that no one gets sprayed in the eyes with spray paint inadvertently if the doors were to open when the spraying was taking place. The elevators will be active while carpeting and all other work is being done. We will ask home residents to avoid using the elevators on those floors. But anyone that has to leave the building in an emergency will be able to do so throughout this construction process, no matter what's being done.
But specifically, when the elevators, the doors are being painted, if there's an emergency, it could be attended to, right?
Yes, there are a number of ways to override this. The fireman can do it with an elevator key. You can also go to the floor above or the floor below. And the notices to residents will include provisions for how to get special help if residents are mobility impaired or need some other kind of special assistance during the process.
Okay, under unfinished business, we have a motion that it was a second reading of motion to amend the spa rules to close the children's activity room on weekdays at 9 p.m. I don't think, do we have any discussion? I don't think we have any discussion regarding that, and we cannot vote on it, so let's move to new business. Motion for the pool cover. Would you like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion about replacing the pool cover. It's something we should discuss. It could be good to preserve the inside of the swimming pool during the winter time when the weather is harsh. Hopefully it'll protect the pool during the winter time when the weather is harsh, and the garbage won't end up going into the pool, so the cover should be something we should consider.
In light of some conversation in history that's been brought to my attention also, I think it's important that we review the warranty on this pool cover, like how long is it, is the manufacturer going to stand behind it? So we do have extreme conditions here, and they should be aware that, where we are when we're purchasing it. So we should definitely make sure we find out how long they're willing to stand behind this cover.
I believe we asked about warranty information the other day. That's number one. Number two, it's been brought to our attention that in the past there were covers. There were attempts to cover the pool in the winter, in the 80s and the 90s. Each of those times the cover was blown off or there was some other damage to it. So, and I also understand that there were grommets or something to secure the covers to in the past, so we're going to have to drill new holes. That I understand. But if the winds damaged the cover in the past, which I guess we didn't know about, what's to say it's not going to happen again? May I get an answer to that? Yeah. I'm sure you discussed it.
The type of cover that's proposed is a loop lock nylon mesh cover that stretches tight across the pool. It's spring loaded. It does require that grommets are inserted in the concrete around the pool. The grommets turn down and are stowed below the surface so that you can walk on them during the summertime. The warranty is 25 years on the cover from the manufacturer and 1 year workmanship from the pool company that installs it. These covers are designed to withstand high winds. I can't comment on what happened to whatever cover you had in the past or what kind of cover it was. So I couldn't comment on that part.
I understand that now. One other, it's not to Frank, it's just an observation. We've gone all these years without a cover. I understand the concept of wanting to protect the pool surface, and so it doesn't get dirty. But just to make a comparison, we didn't want to spend $8,000 more for a different landscaper or one who had experience on the property, but yet we seem to be ready to spend $8,000 for a pool cover. It just doesn't mesh in my mind. Just an observation.
Well, we believe that it's going to save us some money. That is why we are having that. We are thinking about having the pool cover. But anyway, we haven't taken a vote on it yet. No, okay. So, any more discussion? Let's move on to the next item.
The next item is the ladies' locker room renovation. And that's something that we're going to have to address as well and discuss because we have to get an engineering company in here and we maybe should go over what the design is before we spend that $12,000.
How much?
Before that, I just wanted to thank the spa committee that they really made a lot of effort to come up with a very good design for ladies' locker room. And I just wanted to acknowledge their hard work.
Yes, and I also think that before we go forward, we should speak to the SPA committee, the ones who worked on this, just in case the board has some other questions that came up. As far as even the handicap showers, I was realizing a project of this size may require more than just the one handicap shower. I'm not sure, there must be some measurement how they figure out how many handicap facilities we need. And another thing I thought of, I think that the final plans, when we get them, or we should be getting input from the owners, what they would like to see, or when the finishes are picked out, and the hardware should be shown to the owners, because the people who are using it may have some input. I'm not sure if we got input from the owners.
I believe the spa committee, they got the input from the homeowners, they surveyed the homeowners.
No, they
So
didn't.
wait,
No, they didn't.
My only reservation with this was, it's a project we're way overdue, and it's a shame that we're postponing this at this stage in the game. And the SPA committee did a tremendous amount of work on that. I just feel it's unfortunate that that wasn't put before the board before they were asked to vote to spend the money to develop the idea. And that's what that's what this fund is for, is to have an architectural firm to develop and do the design ideas, pick the finishes, pick the final finish. But unfortunately, I don't think that I was given adequate time to review this or even see what the plan was before I was asked to allocate it.
I just want everybody to remember, just saying, haste makes waste. You shouldn't, it's long overdue, it needs to be done, especially it's a selling feature to the Galaxy, where we have the spa facilities, and we want to keep updated. But if we're going to keep rushing through a project just because it's long overdue, we should make absolutely sure, I know the spa committee put in work, but we should put the plans on display for owners to look at them, to look at the finishes. I think it's not more than right. We did the same thing with the hallways and showed the owners. Just my opinion.
Well, I agree with that, but this motion is about having someone develop that and have a plan to do that. That's what this fund would be for, is the design firm to do that for people to see. So I just want everybody to be clear, there's two different things going on here, not what we're doing. This is having someone develop the plan. What is proposed right now is a rough sketch, and a lot of work was put into that, but this would be someone, an architectural firm, who would develop all the funding and the finishes and the floor plans and the architectural plans. So that's what we're discussing right now. It's just, I think we need a little more time to see what we're asking them for before we fund this. Right now, it would be very specific what we're tasking them with, and I just think we can have a little more discussion about what we're tasking them with before we approve it.
If you all agree, I suggest that we will move this item for Thursday and meet with the spa committee before our next meeting for the October. And we can ask our questions, we can discuss it with the spa committee, and then when we are all feel comfortable, we're going to vote on it for the next meeting.
I'm fully aware that we're only developing the plans. I'm just putting it out there that I think it's right to show the owners and the actual people who use the spa to get input. They're the ones using it, and we may get some good input.
The spa committee, they got the input from actual people who are using the spa. Anyway. Yes. So what we're going to do, if you all agree, we're going to remove this item from Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we can do that, yes, because we have to write the new agenda. All right. The next one, Wade, would you like to read it?
Yeah, the last item is going to be a motion to award the contract to Quality One to provide all labor, materials, and demolition, waterproofing and replacement of the 37 drains in the driveway in the amount of $154,725 for the base contract for drain replacements per the revised engineering plans prepared by Desmond Associates, with allowance of $23,450 for a 5-foot of vertical riser replacement if needed, at a unit cost of $22,400 allowance for 5 additional feet of horizontal piping if needed at each drain location for a guaranteed maximum amount not to exceed $202,575. I think it's important that we definitely move ahead with this part of the project, because the entire project is to completely resurface the driveway, but as a board we came to a consensus that we've identified, and management has helped done a very thorough job over the past few months on several different occasions of identifying the leaks in the mall area, all of which have been identified as being isolated around the drains. So the primary issue with all the leaks that are happening down there around the drains and subsequent areas thereof, there was a lot of discussion that went back and forth, but in the end we agreed that, the majority agreed that we should replace the drains this season and let them go through the winter season to make sure that there's no other additional problems that crop up after the drains and the membrane around the drains and the pavers are leveled, and then the additional resurfacing would be addressed next year.
Any more discussion? All right. So we covered 2 motions that we have in the agenda. So if you don't have anything else, I adjourn the meeting.
I move to adjourn.
You don't need to make a motion, it's unofficial. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.